we look at memory models, the most kind of best known and widely accepted one is the information processing model, which kind of looks at how memory work, but it also, in addition to being how memory work, kind of works as a way to think about how people focus and pay attention. And when we get into retention, so we have something that's referred to as sensory memory. And so if I say a number like 763, you can probably say that right back to me. It's not, and you don't even have to really think about it. You don't have to process the numbers. You can just echo it right back. So we have this little buffer of memory that just hangs on to stimuli long enough to tell us, is this something I want to pay attention to or not? And it's microseconds for visual stuff. It's a little bit longer for auditory stimuli. If you ever have done the thing where you kind of wave a flashlight around at night and can make shapes like a figure eight shape or something, anybody ever done that one where you can kind of like do shapes? That is mostly a memory function. Like the light is not hanging in the air. What that is that's showing you what the sensory memory for visual stuff is like. There's a little bit of after imaging on the eyes with light stuff, but it's mostly that is a memory function, not a physics thing that's happening when you see that light trail. So that gives you an idea of what like sensory memory is like. And what we're doing is we're basically taking in everything that the world is kind of like throwing at us and filtering through it and going, this is important, this is important, and this is important. And the rest of that stuff, like the hum that the air conditioning system's making, I can pretty much ignore and I won't even notice it after a while. So once something's made it through that filter, we get into working memory, which is a duration that roughly maybe 30 seconds, give or take. And that stays in memory as long as I'm doing something with it. As long as I'm paying attention to it, it'll sit around in working memory. But then when I'm done it's going to pretty much go as well. And you can keep something refreshed in working memory. It's not, and we don't do it as much anymore with cell phones, but does anybody done the thing where you repeat the phone number over and over because you're trying to get it dialed or written down and you want to just kind of keep it in your working memory and so just keep saying it over and over? Yeah. That's totally refreshing things to keep it active in working memory. And then the last category is long-term memory, which is anything that we remember after 30 seconds or a minute or so once we're done with it. If you hang on to it, it has made it into long-term memory. And things can be really well established in long-term memory or lightly established in long-term memory, and you may be going to forget it sooner rather than later. But it's anything that you remember after a pretty short interval and you're still hanging on to has made it into long-term memory.